Yep. Yo, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very special guest.
She's a recent college grad,
She's a mentor to young adults,
and she cares about both our dumb asses.
and I still don't know why. Today we bringing Alayzha Jordan to the classroom.
Class is in session.
Oh. All right, Alayzha. Am I going? Am I doing it?
Oh, okay, yeah. If you wanna rock on it, let's.
Are you gonna tell everybody I'm an inspiration to all women too?
yeah, or no, she's no noob.
No noob.
This is Alayzha Jordan. She's no noob to the college experience.
She's an inspiration to all women.
Hey, look, I had to come up with something. Goddamn it. You motherfuckers weren't helping me out. All right.
I didn't know I had to help you with that. Yeah.
You said,
Catchphrases, you know.
right. well, we are acquainted, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know how to start this shit out. I'm a little rusty, you guys. Alayzha,
Yes.
welcome.
Hi.
Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Nate, are you comfortable?
Hell yeah.
Everybody got water.
Do you have water?
Yes. You know what?
Do I need to just give you your phone so you can look at the questions so you can just read
No,
one off?
I'm waiting on you to ask the question.
I thought you were going into that one with the college experience. Or do you want just ask your financial question? Get the damn financial questions out.
I was just going from raw. I'm shooting from the hip right now.
Yeah, shoot from the hip. All right.
All right. So Alayzha,
All right.
welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to hold on. All right. Welcome, Alayzha. Thanks for coming on to our podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Nate, I ain't seen you in a while.
Yeah, buddy.
I know, right? All right, Alayzha. So, do you feel like college has prepped, I would say, their new, what would you say, graduating class?
Oh yeah.
Their new
New
They're
students,
recent
new
grads.
alumni.
Mm-hmm.
their new alumni?
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. All right.
My bad.
Hey, Alayzha. All right. So, do you feel like college has prepped their new alumni for? Did I say the word right?
You an alumni? Alumni.
I think it is
Alumni.
alumni. Right. For the new, I would say, the real world experience,
In what aspects are you referring to?
as in paying bills, right? Like the job search market. Actually knowing, how credit works. What do you need to actually just maintain as an adult in the real world?
I guess to that answer, I would say like it depends. It depends. Like if you are seeking for those answers are available. Because they do have centers like dedicated to like, like what is LinkedIn? Like how should you use LinkedIn? How important is LinkedIn? Which is very important. LinkedIn is basically at this point more important than your resume.
Really?
Yeah. From
Do you-
what I've heard,
Do you have
recruiters
LinkedIn?
Huh?
Do you have a LinkedIn?
I do have a LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right? And I
Yeah.
dabble on my LinkedIn.
like it's serious. Like some people will hire you just based off your LinkedIn. Like they'll like send you a job offer based off your LinkedIn. Like and
I do
I
get
think-
job offers on my LinkedIn.
yeah, from what I heard, like
I did.
50% of recruiters just looked on LinkedIn. Just look on LinkedIn. So it's just like, why not dabble it up? Although I have not. Have there been plenty of seminars and webinars teaching me how to do it? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So like that's why I'm like, yes, but it's like you have to use it. I wouldn't say like there are dedicated like classes or curriculums to it. No, but it's definitely resources out there if you use them.
So, how do you guys keep up with like the ever changing job market? And what I mean by that is like when I was 18, LinkedIn wasn't a thing, right? Like my mother was still telling me how to write a cover letter for your resume,
Mhm.
right? And I still see that now, like you add a cover letter on some jobs for your resume, but yeah, LinkedIn is a situation. What is it, Glassdoor? That's
Yeah.
another.
Glassdoor reviews. Yeah, reviews companies. Yeah.
Right, reviews company. I'm like, how do you like keep up? Like,
It's definitely a thing of staying in the loop, I think. Like, especially like those who really want a job, then like you staying in the loop of what's going on. I think for my school, particularly, specifically, that I went to. I think
Don't worry, we all
have
get
we have our little career center, and like
Mm-hmm.
we always use it. It's always been it always will and always has been available. So from the moment that you enroll till you die, like you can go back and like have somebody like look at your resume or look at your LinkedIn or like let you know like what's missing. Like if you just show up with a resume, they're gonna be like, "Do you have a LinkedIn?" You'd be like, "What's a LinkedIn?" Or you like ask them about a job, because I remember there was a job I was trying to apply to, and I realized and found out the company was fake, because you know
Oh,
That's a first.
that's a first.
the company was fake. I mean, like it was no harm done because I didn't give them any important information. The only thing they had was like my name and like my email address, so like I was cool. But like
Was it for your major? Was it for film and media?
no,
Okay.
I
was
can't
like,
remember what it was for.
oh man.
Like one of them dead end jobs.
It was
It was literally a dead end job.
like it literally like the company was like literally fake. Like everything about it was fake. It was fake. Which was like I found it out by like showing it to the people in my career center.
So,
it's like
you
no.
definitely now you have to verify jobs.
I feel like that might have been a rare case.
I wonder because I know like Craigslist, right?
Oh yeah,
You
you don't trust Craigslist now.
You don't trust Craigslist, but Craigslist was a big deal,
Yeah.
right? And they will always say if you want to go find a house to rent on Craigslist, just go in this little tablet.
Mhm.
Well, all of a sudden you would start to see these gorgeous houses for rent for like dirt cheap, and then you'll write the person like, "Hey, I'm trying to rent a room," and they'll be like, "Yeah, my family is in Africa right now. You just send your social security number, your name, your address, and a deposit, and we'll get back to you after we run your credit score." Well, people were getting their identity stolen and their deposit stolen, and like that was a big deal on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
That and Backpage, but we're not gonna talk about Backpage. But yeah, you had to verify that was the actual owner of that property.
Did your university have a career fair? Like you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did people get hired there?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like
it's just
some
not
people
for show.
was getting hired on the spot. And like some people, it was sometimes of like, here's my resume. Like, okay, we'll call you, or like, I'm really interested in you. Like, hit me up when you graduate. It's definitely a thing for specific people, which I'll say again, it's definitely like I feel like more of an extroverted thing, or like a less anxiety-ridden introvert. Because I wasn't good at college fairs. Like, I knew what school I wanted to go to from the jump, and I knew schools was looking at me, and I knew I was a great candidate. But like, it's the walking from table to table, like having like that little quick like minute pitch, like talking to people and like just really putting yourself out there on levels that like I personally cannot handle. Thankfully I still found a job, but I mean, like, career fairs are useful, but like, do I ever go? No, they're too much. I went to one college fair and was like, this is too much. But like, I might have claustrophobia. It might be a people thing. It's probably me. I don't know. But like, if you're an extrovert, I say do it.
Yeah. Jay, have you ever seen one of these?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because my school also had a huge one, but it's you're just right. It's for extroverts, so you have to learn how to be extroverted real quickly because you're just in lines and lines. It's like the recruiters will be give me 30 seconds and all right, tell me about you, and it's like completely on the spot. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
And it got to be interesting.
I mean, yeah.
That's why I've always wanted to get like my coworkers will go down there to these schools and do it, but I want to do it because I just want to give these kids like some reprieve, like chill, like just tell me what you like to do. That's it.
But I mean, you always have to perfect your elevator pitch. You always that is like in sales. That is the thing that always save you. That's the thing that separates the people that just make decent money to the people that actually make real money. Elevator pitches.
But you think those elevated pitches only geared towards more high energy extroverts versus someone that's maybe have more to offer that just don't know how to say it?
That is true. Because I'm gonna say the elevator pitch was made up when they didn't give a fuck about introverts or extra. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing. They were just like, you need to know how to fucking do this,
Yeah.
and we don't care that you are what is it? Introvert?
Introvert,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry. It's the introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, because I talk a lot because I don't want people to get close to me. So it was real easy
Okay.
for me.
All right.
Yeah.
So your university had a career center, career fair. What other type of resources, or did they kind of help with?
What? Let me ask a question.
Okay, you go,
Yeah,
Jay.
I'm
You
sorry.
go, Jay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just gotta ask. Like, all right, was there anyone helping you guys out with your credit, or they were just letting kids just run up their credit cards?
I mean, it was. I don't know if we like had like specific advisors for it, but it was definitely like some don'ts, like do not do this. There were definitely like it's always like the session of
Right.
like financial session, like come talk to us, come get financial advice, or like they said all the first years because we're not supposed to say freshmen anymore. They would sit all the first years down, and they'd be like, "All right, guys, like, look." Don't get a bunch of credit cards. Like, don't be stupid. Like, if you get a credit card, like, don't run it up. Don't be stupid. Like, look at these loans that you're about to get as a student and, like, make sure you read. Like, do they say subsidized or unsubsidized? Because that's a very big difference.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to be incurring interest as you're in school. You don't want to start making payments while you're still in school. Like, you got to read. And that's about as far as it went.
See, I'm so glad they even like broke that down.
First of all, why can't you call them freshmen? I want to get that up. Like that's the first thing I was like, whoa. Like,
I mean, it's just like super gender specific. Like
okay.
fresh man,
Got it.
fresh men.
I'm gonna leave
When
it
it's
alone.
like this is just my. I mean, that's just what most universities are using now. Instead of saying like freshman, you say first year. Because I mean, that's the only one that's gendered. I don't know the history behind it on why it's called freshman and everything else is sophomore, junior, senior. But yeah, it's first year.
I thought they got it from
junior,
like
senior.
Oh, okay. Super senior. I was super senior. Well, sort of.
you was a
Super
super
senior?
senior.
Yeah, I went
Super
one
senior
extra.
is that fifth year.
Yeah, I didn't go fifth year. I went one extra.
Only time I
semester.
heard of super senior is like at like high school. Guy flunked twice. He was a super senior.
Yeah, you can be a super senior in college.
Okay, I didn't know like y'all called the super seniors in college. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We had some like 8-year like students. Yeah, they're career students.
Don't ever call me a super senior if I'm in college. just call me a senior. All right, later. So, I mean, I'm glad that. Well, that definitely changed my mind. Let me say that of how I thought universities were leading kids into debt. I mean, maybe they're not.
I mean, they
putting-
still are.
Right, like maybe they're not putting big red lights, having people go through the fine print with them,
Mhm.
but they are doing those old commercials where they, those old commercials like those old medicine commercials where they whisper all of the the bad things that can happen to you. It seems like colleges are doing that, and if you pay attention to the whispers, then you might get a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah. And sometimes colleges kind of out themselves, like with those small, those small little percentages that they have, like the federal default loan rate, which like I always look at when it comes to schools.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still do for my students, but like before I would always look at them because like it's like how many of your students are defaulting on their loans?
What does that tell you?
I mean, one, it tells me your kid, the students who are graduating from your university might not be getting jobs. They might not be making money to actually pay off these loans that they got. They just might not be.
Right?
Which, like, that's not always the case, but, like, that seems to be, like, a general trend when the schools have high federal default loan rates.
How did you find that? This is a new term for me. How easy was that for you to find? Because
Oh, it's Google.
you just Googled it.
It's just
easy.
Google.
Okay.
It's like graduation rate, retention rate, federal default loan rate. And it's like anything past like 5%, you like,
So is that saying that is that the school's fault, or is that the student's fault, or is that the institution?
I mean, it's like a combination of the three. It's like how
Okay.
well are you preparing these kids once they graduate to leave. Because I mean, like, if your federal default loan rate, like, it's something to do with you as
Right.
an institution. Like, we just not gonna say it's not you, but it's probably something to do with the students too. You know.
Mhm.
And it's just like what's the percentage of people who get jobs after graduation? My school was 98 with a federal default loan rate of like 0.5 or 1%. Like it was like super low and super high. And I'm like, cool. Which, I mean, I don't have any loans. So I can't default on any loans, which
Right.
might be cheating. But also had a job when I graduated.
So
And I have people checking in with me like every 6 months
so you
to
can
make sure I got a job.
you can find this information. You could just Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Do they break it down on degrees as well?
They don't break it down on degrees.
Okay.
It's just schools.
Cause I was like, if I was a parent, had 2 boys or 2 girls, or and now I wanted to put them in a school, that is a great, I would say, trick to have in your bag of looking at and choosing what schools are best for your kids is understanding, looking at the default loans of how many kids from this university are actually graduating, becoming successful, as well as they can pay their own bills after they rack up this debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this on the subject of loans. And Alayzha, this is not a trick question. And Jay, you can answer this one too. What's like on the loans? Like, what do you think's too much? Like, too much you pay for an education? I know you have a full ride, but what do you think? What was the max you would think you would be willing to pay if you could just be like, that was worth $60,000? Like, I know it's hard to put a number, but what's too much? Because I know
it's really hard.
for my degree, like I was in $40,000 debt, and so it's like, is that too much? But when I compare it to other people that went to like occupational therapy or physical therapy with private schools, and you have to get a master's degree or a doctorate, you're looking at least 100, 110, and that's what they're in. But I'm like, when you make your degree only makes like 50, 60,000 a year, so that's tough. Because I had 40, but my engineering degree, the general consensus when I got out, you're making 60, 65,
Right.
that kind of thing. So I guess it depends. Like if you go to art school, again, film and media, and then you get in debt. So like your school, they'd be 120,000, something like that.
So what's your ROI? Basically?
Yeah, it's just like what's too much? Because then
what's your return on investment?
Yeah, or is it a hard number? Like, all right, if you get more than $100,000, like you shouldn't go.
I feel like me personally, but let me state this: I don't have a degree. Went to college, didn't finish college, so my opinion might not matter, right? But I feel like it should be, just from my financial sense, it should be a percentage. Now I don't know what that percentage is, and I don't know what the rate of return that will be a great rate of return when it comes to college debt. But I feel like there is a number. And I feel like there is a percentage of like, I don't know, 20%, 50% if we do it times 5 years or, over 10 years. But I know most of the student loans are, what's the average? About like 20 years?
When I did it, and this might be different, they had it on a 10-year. I was on a 10-year program.
Okay.
I paid it off before, but it was 10-year program of like $523 a month, but for 10 years. So that's how they base the interest rates and stuff like that. So as soon as you're done, so you graduate at 22, 23, right? So you don't get done till 30, 33, and you're finally done.
Okay.
And that's just with the federal like backed loans. Not if you go private loans, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. So, Alayzha, you don't have any debt, or do you have debt?
I got my own debt that I racked up. I don't have any debt
You don't have
from
student debt.
school. No, I don't have any student debt. I think just like with the way that like I guess I would advise is like I'm kind of, especially like with the backgrounds that my kids coming from, I'm looking at, not really like the degrees, I guess, because like in your case, the degree mattered. But like most of the time, like the degree, it just doesn't matter in most cases.
Are you saying that the school name weighs more than the actual degree?
I think, no, I'm not saying the school name all the time. I'm saying like generally.
Right.
Generally.
Mhm.
Like I'm just saying, like, the fact that you have a bachelor's degree
Okay.
has more weight than like what major is up under that degree, especially because like I mean, most of the time, like if we're being real, like with my film and media studies degree, I can say that I have a film and media studies degree, but like if I wanted to go into production,
Mhm.
like they're gonna ask me, okay, what have you been doing? Like that's cool. I know that you know, cognitively know what you're doing, but like, have you done it in practice? Have you had that experience to go along with that cognitive, you know, knowledge? Because like, you know, I got history. I understand why things are the way they are in film, but like, when's the last time I held a camera? You know, and that's what a job is gonna ask me. Like, so I think like, you know, for the people who are like history, Spanish, like the degrees that's like, you know, these are really nice degrees. Like as long as you kind of have like that experience for what you want to do and kind of also colleges, I mean not colleges, jobs are kind of looking at that kind of like that work ethic that you pull from college.
Okay.
Because it's like you can work under pressure. You know how to have about 5 or 10 different tasks at once and get them all done during a certain time period. Like, you know how to work with people because you've had about 30 different professors and probably at least 5 of them have been assholes. Like, you kind of have like that kind of work set, which is what I think about with a college degree when we thinking of like, I don't want to say more general things because that's not what they are, but like the less like immediately understandable practical ones.
Okay.
Like engineering or like marketing or accounting. Like you know exactly what you're about to do after you get that degree. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what you're about to do. But it's like, you know, if you a Spanish major, like you can do a lot of stuff. Like you could be an interpreter. You can go to Madrid and just start working there doing stuff. Like, you know, like you can work in the office in the HR department as a diversity and inclusion expert because like you have knowledge on that background. You know, like you can do so much with that degree that doesn't necessarily translate. Oh, well, the immediate thing that people think of, I think, is like Spanish teacher. Like, don't do that. You know, like, so like a bunch of times, what I learned and what I was taught is like, if you're gonna go to college, like, go for whatever experience you can get, because everybody's not gonna get the typical college experience, but go and learn something and become sort of an expert in what you were actually interested in. Because like, if you're not and you get all this debt and you don't even like what you learn, I feel like regardless of the loans, you wasted your money.
Okay.
Like, irregardless. Like, if you don't like it, like, you've wasted your money. Like, my degree was like a little expensive, but like my scholarships, I think it went to good money because like I enjoy every minute of my degree, every single minute.
Okay.
And like I want to move forward with it with something, and I can do whatever I want because it's so general and I have such a broad knowledge of it. And that's what people want these days. They want broad knowledge. They don't want you to be a specialist in one thing because that's all you can do. They want a jack of multiple trades. Do you know a little bit of everything?
Okay.
But that's a long answer to say.
Well, girl, it's your podcast.
Whatever I was saying. I don't even remember. But that's a really long answer. But like back, I guess like Alayzha at 18, Alayzha was not trying to pay anything, okay? If you said anything to me about a loan, I was not going. Like that was just my thought process. But I definitely get what you're saying. But like Alayzha, no. That's exactly why I picked the school that I was picking. Because when I was talking to them, they said, look, if you get in, that's all you got to worry about. I said, oh. So you got me on the money side, and they said yes, and they did. So
and the school you went to is one of those schools.
Yeah, they had the money to back up their words.
Yeah,
which is why I was looking at specific schools. I'm like, I need to go to schools with money to give me money.
So on that, like the back of the house, not the front of the house, the back of the house, bigger schools are able to offer better deals than the smaller schools. My understanding.
Well, there's bigger, smaller, but also private, public. You got to keep that.
So
in
you
mind.
got so you got bigger,
Yes.
smaller, private, bigger, and then public.
Yep.
And who has the most money to get the better students, and why do they try to get the better students?
More often than not, it's private because like they pulling in.
So private got the bag. Let's just say that.
They do because like they don't rely on federal funding at all. I know my school specifically, like when it came to the CARE Act, they said no. They didn't take any of the money
Okay.
from the government when it
Mhm.
came to like the whole like I don't know what it was the CARES Act. That's what it was. But like my school didn't take any of it, and it's because like they're private. They do their own thing. Like they stand strong on like we use our own money to do our own things to handle our own people, and like in a lot of cases like that's nice because they can kind of like do it like
Do
it's
it their
not
way.
they can do what they want, which like in some cases it's really nice because like things that could fly at a public that is like ew don't fly at private, which is like cool, you know.
Right.
But like it could also be flippy flopped, you know. Like it could be some bogus stuff going on at a private school that you can't do anything about because they're private and they use their own money, you know. And but I don't know. I liked private because I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew they had the money to back up what I needed on the front end and the back end, like
So-
tuition and extra stuff.
So to my understanding, if mom,
But public schools are cool too.
Right, public schools are great. But let's just say I have a boy and a girl, right? My children, and they're great schools. I mean, they're great students, right? Try to elevate them and get them to go to the private schools because they can learn a little bit more. Or like, what can a public school offer them that a private school can't? Only reason I'm asking because I didn't have an opportunity to go into this. So this really not just for you. This is a question for you as well.
Yeah, because we were on opposite ends. 'cause
Yeah,
you
and they
went
went to a public school.
school.
Yeah,
right.
you went to bigger private, get a little bougier, and then like little.
Don't
I mean,
don't dare
but yeah,
her school.
but private to public, because
So what is the benefit of going to a public? Because remember,
I don't know if there's a benefit.
Right, I got
That's the-
kids now.
Like, I don't know if there's a benefit to it.
I got
think
kids. They play violas. You know what I mean? Like
I think only one of the practical benefits. It's more of like your fellow students are probably come from the same background you are. Like we're all kind of pouring into this together. But what's so detrimental to public schools, especially mine, in the Missouri system, and this is something I keep learning about, is that they are fighting for money. Not just for students, you know, like because all the money that, like, so University of Missouri, 4 schools, all my tuition, all of Mizzou's tuition, all goes in the same bucket.
Mhm.
Every bit of it. There's no dispersion, and then they just pull from it. And since Mizzou is the biggest school, they have the sports center, they get the biggest chunk out of it. So one, that's how much tuition. Scholarships they can give out, which is very limited. Grants the same way. But then it's also how they keep up their facilities, how they can get you just like those student benefits. So it's on the public schools, it's just like schools are fighting each other for stuff on the external, what the students see, as well as the internal, as now I'm seeing as working for these schools, is that, man, these things are about, like, they're just held together with duct tape and dreams. Whereas on the private sector, again, they have more money. They can do a lot of these private projects. They can be pickier. I'm going to ask this. Do you think I think here's the benefit of public. If you aren't that great of a student, you have a better chance getting into a public school and having a shot at a better life. But at private, sometimes they can be a little pickier. But that's just my outside looking in.
Sometimes.
So if I got my kids that are playing viola and they have the shot to go to a private school, full ride,
Yes.
take it.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Unfortunately.
100%.
I mean, I'm not biased.
Well-
you guys are.
Well, I'll let you take this before I'll
Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're interested in listening to the full discussion, please see our podcast on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. If you appreciate the content, please like and subscribe. And if you have an opinion on what we're talking about, please leave a comment below. Hey, you know how it is. Class dismissed.